Today is Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 48, Week 4.
Week 4, March 22nd. So they just announced that the finale is going to be on May 21st. So we're
2 more months.
2 months out. And they said it was from 8 to 11 Eastern. So that's a 3-hour show. That's not like last time, huh? What was it last time with the part 1,
2
part
and
2?
2.
2 and 2. So maybe back to the standard 3-hour.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Any other business you can think of before we jump in to the super fans?
I was thinking of something the other day, but I don't know what it was now, so guess it wasn't important.
How many fans checked in this week?
20.
20. All right, let's kick it off with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Wow. Now I'm really starting to dig this season. These last 3 episodes have been insane and unpredictable. So I'm going to let out a great, big because, guys, I did not see that coming. I mean, look, yes, the dreaded Green Voodoo team is cursed. They lost again, but with different people. And I thought they were going to be the team finished in first, to be honest, with Joe, Thomas, Shahin, the California girls, and even you had Kyle and Camilla from the Orange team who were strong as well. And Camilla was probably the best player at puzzles. Why they had her in the back dictating it instead of being one of the solvers is beyond me. And Shahin said it in one of his confessionals after. They should have had Joe in the background there, or even Kyle. I think if you had Shahin, Thomas, and Camilla in there, they probably would have won. I was glad to see Say and Cedric win, even though they're on orange, and Happy Mary won on purple. That must have felt so good to not go to tribal, feeling human for once, or sanity maybe for once too. And they got some fruit reward too, which was great. Kyle, I give him credit playing the idol, and he had to play because he knew they didn't have the numbers. My hat goes up to Camilla again. That says a lot about her social game. Playing those 3 guys, I honestly thought, I knew Joe, he's oblivious. He's not a strategic player at all. But I really thought Shahin and Thomas would have saw right through her, and they didn't. They really believed she was at the bottom, wasn't working with Kyle, and man, did they get played like fools. And boy, Shahin and Thomas gonna be looking back thinking, how did that happen? I really gonna hear what Thomas said in his interview. He didn't even use his extra vote that he didn't tell anyone. And as alliance now will never know about it until they watch the show months later. Unbelievable. And then the other new teams real quick. Purple, I knew it. Sai is sitting pretty there. I think Charity's in a good spot with Mary. Watch out for those girls there going against David and Eva. But I don't know if that team will lose the challenge or not, too. I know David is still full of himself, in my opinion. And the Orange team, I didn't think they were going to win with Cedric, but they pulled it out, though, and sit with Say, and good for Mitch there, too. Mitch and Chrissy and Bianca, because Bianca's kind of on the outs working her social game. So much craziness is going on. This is an awesome Drop Your Buff episode, and I voted for Survivor 50 again, and I said they should keep the tribe swap, because it had so much unpredictability, and keeping limited advantages. Really, guys, great episode. Now let's check out Thomas's interviews, because clearly he didn't see this coming at all.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, Thomas said that he was playing the odds. That was why he just didn't think, and the other guys didn't either. They agreed with him. Didn't think that they were going to play an idol on him. So he thought the chances were really low. It just did not work in his favor.
All righty.
Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in. I hope that everyone enjoyed this week's episode. For me, I thought overall that it was pretty good. It's definitely exciting. Although I'll say the episode still had some flaws. And for me, I'm trying not to turn this feedback into just another rant about smaller tribes. But I just think that smaller tribes leads to forced unpredictability in game instead of it happening more organically. And I think obviously that's why Jeff actually likes it. I think it delivers on some of these big tribal councils where, like the episode before this one, where it's just a completely bizarre tribal council, or for this one where it makes for some of these like really exciting moments. And I am kind of on the fence because there's things in the game like idols and lost votes, block of votes, extra votes that empowers players who might be at the minority in a vote, like a 3-2 split, where those two players are just basically sitting ducks. Well, they have the ability to change the vote, especially if they're good strategic game players like Camilla and Kyle were this episode. But I just think with a larger tribe, I think these moments would happen more organically, and it'd be more exciting seeing it that way. I'm just not a fan of smaller tribes. I want to see a vote with more votes in it, basically, than a smaller vote where somebody's voted off with just 2 or 3 votes. I was really sad to see Thomas go this episode. And I have to give serious props to not only the people who thought that tribe was going to lose, because certainly none of the players on that tribe thought they were going to lose, and I definitely didn't. But further to that, the people that thought Thomas was going to be the one to go home. So mad props to anybody that had a vote off point this episode. As far as my predictions for next week, this week I had Say's tribe losing, and I had her going home. And I think next week, if her tribe loses, I think very likely she would be the one to go home. Especially, I had a feeling that Cedric and Mitch would hit off, and I think that they have. But I actually have David's Angels tribe losing next week. And I think in that case, I think Charity or Star would be the one likely to go home. And I think Charity, I'm trying to remember if she explicitly threw David's name out there. If not, I know that she's obviously not a fan of David. And I think if they lose, she would probably throw his name out there. And I think that's a dangerous game, just being how strong of a player he is. And I think he's fairly well liked among his tribe. So I think Charity's time has probably come to an end, and she would be the one to go home next week. So that's my prediction for now, but I look forward to hearing all the other fans' feedback. And you guys just take care.
Excellent. Thanks, Robert. She didn't throw David's name out explicitly. She was just saying that David would do basically what she told him to do.
Yeah, she thinks he's with her and that he'll do anything she says.
A puppy dog, not capable of much independent thought, seemed to be how she was characterizing him. She was just so happy when Eva served up Star on the platter, as Eva described it. So she was more than happy to target Star.
Well, in which she explained why David wants to get rid of Charity.
I don't know that I connect the dots. I don't see what you're saying.
Just that maybe that attitude, maybe he knows she thinks that he's the puppy dog type that'll just do whatever she tells him to.
Well, the way they had him laying it out in the edit was that she was the target previously. Mm-hmm. She was similar to Star, playing what they determined as an alliance hyper aggressively. She wasn't out hunting for idols as aggressively as Star was, but in terms of how much she was pushing to play the game strategically, that's when the majority wasn't quite in favor of that while they were winning, I guess.
Okay.
Thanks, Robert. Next up, got an email from Crystal in Santa Rosa, California.
Wow, that was a great episode. We got quite a lot of strategy talk and the big developments of Mary and Say. Attempting to mend fences and join forces was surprising. I did sense some genuine feelings there, more from Mary, so I hope that it wasn't a big act. I knew Say would immediately get ready to throw Cedric under the bus, despite his saving her at the last tribal. Their relationship reminds me of the fable of the frog and the scorpion. Mm-hmm. Say is definitely the scorpion, so I can't be mad at it. She is what she is. A big bravo to Kyle and Camilla for smart planning and nerves of steel. Please don't get cocky with your success. Post-merge, this could prove disastrous if Joe and Shahin both make it. During Jabek I was going to pick Camilla, but I got scared with her potential to be possibly too impulsive. So I switched to Mary. We shall see. Shahin and Joe better watch out. Their overconfident California Girls Alliance has to realize this isn't that kind of beach life. Still, I was sad to see Thomas go, since I was still debating whether he was a full villain or just a smart strategist. He sounds like a lovely man with a healthy attitude about his time on Survivor. David. Now we hear his girlfriend actually broke up with him before he left, but he's planning on getting the ring size upon return. Poor dear. I hope one of his 3 sisters is watching, and we'll have a talk with him when he gets back.
Oh, I heard a bless his heart in there.
However, I was not pleased with Charity thinking he was her little puppet. That was just mean girl behavior for her to say it like that. And those hearing it will get an unfavorable impression of her, even though it does serve him up on a platter. I'm glad David has his own revenge planned. If they lose, I do think she'll be next to go. Also, Joanne, for some reason, I want to call her Candace, too. Oh, thank goodness. I don't know why. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great week, everyone. And I'm excited to hear other perspectives on this revealing episode. All right. Thanks, Crystal.
Is it because her hair's pulled back? And original Candace from Cook Islands, she had somewhat of a similar look. She would wear her hair flat and pulled back like that sometimes.
I don't know. I don't know. Charity just didn't roll off my tongue. So I don't know about Bianca, but why I was calling her a different name too, but I'm trying not. Okay, up next we have a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Oahu with my feedback for week 4 of Survivor 48. That was a roller coaster. I feel like many of my friends on the Facebook page and who listen to the podcast really did not see Avula 2 loss coming. I really expected those guys to dominate in the challenge. I thought it was going to be Siva who went. I chose Bianca as my vote out because she didn't have a vote and she was the odd person out. And it was one of those weeks where I was, this is going to be great to watch. I think I know exactly what's going to happen. No, didn't see it coming. I was actually shocked that Vula lost the challenge. I was shocked that Thomas did not use his steal a vote. I was shocked that the California Girls Alliance did not think maybe we should split the votes. I loved the gameplay of Kyle and Camila. It was such a masterclass in deception. And you know what? Mary last week was equally as amazing. Just mind games, committing, poker facing your way through not getting voted out. It was amazing. I was a little worried when Vula 2 lost that possibly it would be my USB Shahin that went home. I did not see it coming for Thomas. I really didn't. But overall, how exciting that you have no idea what's about to happen and it all plays out in front of you. I was sad that Eva had such a hard time with the swap. It was really hard while the swap was happening, watching her anxiety. But overall, I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was great. I loved Cedric and Mitch's bonding over a speech impediment. I think we all called that Sai was going to dump Cedric as soon as she could. She hasn't done it yet, but she's already talking about it. And I'm glad Mary's on a team where she's not so under a rock all the time and might have a chance to thrive because I really like watching her play. Predictions for who will go out next. On Siva, I feel like it could be Bianca just because she doesn't have a vote. But there could be some funny business going on between Cedric and Sai. Obviously, she's going to keep rubbing people the wrong way. On Logie 2, I feel like it could be Star. I don't think she ever got her vote back. And Eva has already put her on a silver platter as this is a person we don't get along with. Vula 2? Gosh, I just don't know. I really hope we get to merge where they have to go back to tribal again because I really like the 4 people who are left so much and I don't want any of them to go home. Thank you so much for all that you do. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and aloha.
Aloha. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, Mary's got a protector now. In the deleted scene video, David's talking about how he's looking out for her.
Yeah, he really likes her as a person, and they are
Wants to protect her.
they're really gelling. So he's her new protector.
Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy, and all my survivor friends. I've been away attending a college reunion. It is the 45th for the class of 1980, which was loads of fun. But sadly, I missed the first episode of Survivor. So as soon as I got back, I watched it. And I've been also recovering after my travels, but I have been all up to date. I have really enjoyed the season of Survivor so far. And my USB is Shahin, but I am really liking Camilla a lot. My God, in the last episode, that girl gave a masterclass in deception. Both her and Kyle were fantastic. I listened to the exit interviews of Thomas, and what to say after the fact, how some of the players come up. And I must say that Thomas got out because of his own desire to be overly deceptive. That lie about the journey was definitely going to blow up in his face post-merge anyway. He was not long for in this game, and his antics and willingness to do morally dubious things was going to make him not trustworthy to people. I normally don't listen to Gordon Holmes, but I just did, and it just surprised me the words that he used for some of his team members or his people from his team. He called Camilla a devil, which could be in fun, but then he called Kyle an ass, and then for Mary he used a cuss word which was bleeped out, and I just found that a little bit disheartening to see that coming. Maybe it's just that he's bitter that he got voted out when he did. He was outplayed. Well, apart from that, it's been a really enjoyable season, and I managed to go and vote for Survivor 50 with my VPN on. And I'm not doing too well in my JSFL, but I don't care as long as I have lots of fun. And it's been so wonderful listening to everybody. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. And cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers, Rashmi. Gordon Holmes was kind of winding him up and coaxing him into saying certain things. So don't read too much into that. I think that had a playful nature. There wasn't an edge or a bite to it. And even the one word that he used for Mary was something that they were joking about before they started the word association. So yeah, I think it was more of a sort of a comic setup, basically, that was going on there. Okay, next up, we got an email from Tara in New York. Hello again, Survivor friends. Wow, what a fantastic episode. I felt like I was watching the excitement of the post-merge in the early game, so I have high hopes for the season. The boring days of Banu crying in the jungle seem to be long gone. Big props to the editors once again. Sadly, we lost one of our best characters in Thomas, so a big piece will be missing next week. I'm a little devastated because he had everything I love in a player. He was strategic, super fun, and devious in the best way, so I'd be excited to see him play again. I think we're going to see him play again for sure. Last week I mentioned the possibility of Mary and Say working together, but didn't quite believe it could happen, so of course I loved seeing them finally starting to bond. Watching them get rid of Cedric together would have been epic. He just annoys me so much for some reason, especially after that sanctimonious speech to everyone on the map before the swap. Say didn't do herself any favors there either, but at least her rough edges seem to have softened a bit. I don't know. I didn't see them soften. When she was saying she wanted to watch them tear each other apart. The new tribes are really interesting, and I love seeing the players react to their new surroundings. As far as new Lagi, I knew Eva would cling to David for support, and I'm glad she has someone to help her. She's way too blunt, though, and serving Star up on a silver platter immediately may come back to haunt her. In a tribe full of women, Eva will be in big trouble if she can only connect with the one man, especially if Star finally gets the idol. Watching Charity whip her head around when they got so excited talking about jet skis was super funny, but also shows people are noticing them. The Charity versus David dynamic will be something to watch, along with the feud between Star and Eva. If they go to Tribal, it could be chaos. On a side note, I can't help but wonder if David's hatred for water may come into play at some point this season, since we've heard about it twice now. As for New Vula, I still can't believe they ended up at Tribal. Great job to the 5 people that called the Thomas vote. Camilla and Kyle pulled off an amazing move. It almost seemed like they had hours to discuss a plan to appear as friendly enemies. If they actually just improvised that whole ruse for the California girls on the spot, they should both go into acting because it was flawless. Once the merge hits, though, these two could be in trouble. I think they'll be seen as a strategic pair and will have to hide behind bigger threats. Camilla seems pretty great at throwing people under the bus, though, so she may just pull it off. She's so impressive. As for New Siva, they got lucky, but I'm guessing that they won't escape Tribal Council again next week. I love seeing Sai working with Bianca. Once again, another lost vote could cause major issues, though. Ugh. A Bianca, Say, and Mary trio at the merge is my new dream. I can see Cedric stuck in that middle spot again, though, so who knows what will happen. He could very easily align with Chrissy and Mitch.
Unfortunately, yes.
Even if he stays loyal to Say, Bianca's lost vote will make any move against Chrissy or Mitch challenging. On the other hand, Say is great at persuading Cedric. Lagi will seem less threatening with Thomas gone. So if Cedric pulls in Mitch, I could maybe see Chrissy going out. In a tie, I think Cedric would probably be the person to cave, though. So Bianca and Say could be in trouble. I can't wait to hear what from everyone else, because I can see almost anyone going home after this week. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for everything you do, as always. Thank you, Tara. That was great. Good job. Next up, we got a call from MikeK.
Hi, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is MikeK from SoCal. I was pretty sure New Vula was going to Tribal Council when the press release said it was going to be a shocking Tribal Council, and there was an undercover alliance, and we knew that there were a lot of people on New Vula had advantages or an idol, and there was also a single press image of Thomas, so I thought Thomas was going to join up with Kyle and Camilla and take out Joe. So I did not get the vote out point, but I did get the right tribe. And next time on, you see the Siva tribe minus Eva are all looking at something while Mary is holding up the decoder circle of stars to try to solve her cryptic, which she's holding in her hand. And immediately after that, David is kind of celebrating. I'm thinking, well, maybe they did solve it for her. And then on the issue of the extra vote, Kyle did use Camilla's extra vote. EW Dalton Ross confirmed with production and said it's going to be explained in the next episode. I kind of thought she did because Jeff said, that's 2 votes, that's enough, implying there was yet another vote. And no clue exactly what's going on in this next episode. Obviously, Eva has some sort of breakdown, and I thought at first, well, maybe maybe Joe comes over and helps Eva. But actually, the press release for this episode says pair of adversaries in an emotional immunity challenge. Eva and Joe are not adversaries, so I'm not really sure who that's referring to. I have no clue who I'm going to vote out for next, but just wanted to share those facts. This is MikeK from SoCal.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike.
Well, they could list them as adversaries because they're on different tribes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, I do think it's them.
Yeah, you could technically, I guess, get away with calling them adversaries because she's on New Lagi, he's on New Vula.
Well, it's press doing a
spin.
They're
It's
doing
spin
their
doctor
spin,
work.
Not press, but the
PR, yeah.
Yeah, PR. That's what I was trying to say. The PR just spinning it. They do that all the time. So
dramatic copy, yes.
Yes.
Entice you to watch it. And it could even potentially be Eva and Bianca, because they fit too. And you hear Bianca saying, just breathe. And you hear Joe say, what was it? Hang in there, sis, or something like that in the promos. So, yeah, get set for a tearjerker on this next one. Make sure to bring Kleenex. Thanks, Mike. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. So, big news. I scored 4 points this week. And not only that,
Nice.
I got my picks in. Maybe that should be the other way. I got my picks in. And not only that, I scored 4 points. So I'll take it. I will take it. I'm only in the basement by one step down. It's not a big deal. So it was a fun episode. It's a good thing that interesting things are happening as far as tribal councils and idle play and advantage play, because the challenges, I mean, it's true that the challenges are, the results are kind of fun and surprising and exciting, but I honestly check out until like the last 30 seconds of the challenge half the time, because there's some back and forth sometimes, but I'm like, all right, as soon as we get to the part where that actually matters, just because of all these equalizers and these relays, I don't know. I think I'm more of an individual community kind of guy. I think maybe that's what the issue is lately. Am I the only one who thinks that the challenges are all just kind of really, really, really similar with just slightly different elements? Like there's just like the relays, right? And ending with the puzzle, which is cool. I mean, they're being creative and the production quality is up there. It's awesome. But I just want to see, I don't know, I want to see them running through the jungle looking for stuff. I was just thinking back to like old seasons and some of the immunity. Again, maybe a lot of those were more individual. So I mustn't grumble because it's been a pretty good season so far. And yeah, great work by Kyle and Mila. Adelaide really likes Say, and she won't really say why. I think she just thinks I think she likes her energy or something. She's really lively and spunky. And Charlie really I think he likes Shahin. They like him. They said he looks like me, but I don't see it at all. I think the only reason is because we both have beards, but his is mine times 23 or something. So I don't know. Not
Yes.
too sorry about Thomas going. I think he had a ton of gameplay, but also I think he was a bit extra. So not that that's necessarily a bad thing, especially on Survivor, but it could get pretty tiring on the island, I imagine. So everyone have a great weekend, and yeah, I think, gosh, next week. I actually kind of thought Charity, is that her name? No, Chrissy, the older one. I thought she might go for some reason. I just kind of threw it out there, but she seems to be kind of hanging in there. So, but Shahin's looking pretty good. So, talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, Survivor fans. The fallout at Tribal Council was nice to see, and I do see that Mary and Say were trying to work together after the ultimatum given out by Cedric. I think they could have worked things out if it wasn't for the tribe swap, which gave all three of them a new life in the game. I have really been enjoying the moments that Eva and Joe have been showing up for each other, and Joe comforting Eva when she needs it. I think something big will happen with this next episode based on some previews I've seen, which involves Eva struggling at the challenge. I see that she has another great alliance partner in David because of the tribe swap and how they quickly connected. Star doing her own thing, like she's done before, gave Eva a great way in with her new tribe mates as she offered up Star's name. I was not expecting to see Cedric and Mitch teaming up and connecting over speech impediments and stuttering, but that was great to see. I feel like Vula had the right idea to change the curse of their tribe being all new members. But I don't know if I would have gone into the challenge stating that. It didn't work out, unfortunately, even though they did start out strong. I don't remember the last time anyone looked into someone else's bag for idols or advantages, but Shahin looked through Kyle's to see if he had anything that would stop the California Girls Alliance from voting him out. But unfortunately, that did not work, and poor Thomas was the one who took the beating. I believe next week I will put Joe and Eva as two of my 4 safe picks in JSFL, since I think a big story based on them will come out next episode, and Eva may ultimately tell everyone about her autism. As for the next round of Survivor 50 voting, I put in for the Final 4 challenge, the Plinko type challenge, and strategic power advantages. But it could also be nice to go back to basic Survivor and see minimal power instead, since we did have a lot of advantages these last several years. And lastly, I voted to keep the tribe swap going. All right, thanks, Jack.
Yeah, I went with Samotion. I like, given what they had up there, I think I like Samotion more than the Plinko and the other one, but I wish they would do the types, the level of endurance challenges that Australian Survivor does. They really have to work for it, and we haven't seen that in a long time. Next up, we got a call from David.
Yay, David's back.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's David back in Pittsburgh. Yes, I know I've been MIA for a month, and I thought about letting you guys know that I was going to be away and that I would be coming back after what I thought would be 2 episodes, but somehow the time got away from me and then we were gone. We were visiting friends in Australia and were there for about a week and a half and then went from there to New Zealand because we figured if we're going to go that far, we may as well go to New Zealand as well. But as I said, I had no idea I was going to schedule it, the trip, when the first 4 episodes of Survivor were starting. This is going to be scattered. My thoughts are scattered. I don't know what time zone I'm in. We went from Australia and it was we lost a day getting to Australia, and then it was another 2-hour change going to New Zealand and then coming back home, and we gained a day, and then it was daylight savings time. So I'm all over the place. I'm just going to give some thoughts that everybody else probably could care less because it's from the first 2 episodes, but here goes. I don't know if it was because I was so tired when I watched the first episode, but it really hit me hard. I felt it was so emotional from the intro when they're telling people that they made it on the show, and especially Joe's reaction. I just started tearing up. And then when we find out about Mitch's disability and Eva's autism, and when she goes to Joe and tells him and how he holds her hands and says he's got her, and then she tells him how he can help her deal with it. I was an emotional wreck. I couldn't believe it. I think probably because the last season started out with baby Andy having his meltdown and getting my USB out, kind of made the show not that great until merge time. But right away, I'm really invested in these players. Then when I'm listening to listener feedback, I'm finding out Joanne's on pain meds because of surgery, and Paul's kid, I think, had knee replacement surgery, and then Robert's talking about the reaction of his friends, some of whom have autism, to Eva. It was just like, wow, this season's really hitting me really hard. So all I can say is I will be caught up by the next episode, and when that's over, you'll be hearing me in real time, so I will be up with everybody else. So glad to be back, and yes, I missed Survivor, and I missed this podcast very, very much. Bye.
Right. We missed you too.
You will be happy to know that my biopsy was benign. So even though we had to be in his office for 3 hours
to
before
get a
we got that
60-second update.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yep.
But, all right, we sure did miss you, David, and I'm glad.
Sounds like a great trip. We did not make it over to New Zealand when we did that, but I'd already been in Australia for weeks by the time you joined me.
Yeah, you had, and I spent, 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I was exhausted
Though I didn't
at the
have
end.
to work. You did. I played the whole time and had a ball. But anyway, I remember we got 2 Valentine's Days. That we had a Valentine's Day there, and then we flew home.
I don't remember that detail at all.
You don't remember a lot of details.
I knew what I remember about going to Australia, and more specifically, we were just in Sydney and the surrounding areas. That was the first country that I had been to outside the U.S., and I thought, oh, yeah, I could live here.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah. It was super beautiful.
That's too much of a flight to go see Mama.
Yeah.
Too far away.
Definitely, but it was beautiful there. It was extraordinarily expensive in Sydney, so we wouldn't have been able to afford Sydney anyway.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember that because, your company was paying for the hotel, so.
Yeah.
And my excursions weren't expensive ones. So.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, great to have you back.
We got sidetracked.
Let's see. I'll just say this much. Brace yourselves because more is coming.
All right. I like that it made him emotional, but also, the tiredness and all of that also puts
amplified it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Okay, next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and this is my favorite episode of this season by far. Tribe swaps work wonders. I was getting a little bored with this season. This green tribe, they're terrible. Get them off of my screen, please. And the Survivor gods answered my prayers. We got a tribe swap, and you know what? We lost a great player, and that's okay because we got to see gameplay from the people that I wanted to see gameplay from. This green tribe is my favorite players in this season on one tribe, and then Thomas. Losing Thomas, I'm not that sad about. I liked him, but I didn't like him that much. Seeing the rumored results of this tribe swap, I was, all right, okay. Very much the same mentality that they had going into the challenge. They're not losing. So I put Joe, Kyle, Thomas, and Shahin all safe.
Oh,
So
bold.
that didn't work out, but oh well. Now I know I'm going to hear over and over and over again about how you can't believe that they were all so cocky coming into the challenge, and that was so obnoxious. Whatever. Come on now. You can't tell me that. Well, you wouldn't be exactly like that coming to do a challenge with that tribe. Come on now. All right, coach. All right, yeah, you tell me about how honorable you are and how noble you are out there. No, if you were out on that island and on that tribe, you'd feel the same way. You would be hyped up. You'd be like, we ain't losing. Sometimes it backfires. Oh well, womp womp. I don't want to listen to you guys say on the feedback show, everybody and their mother, they were so cocky in the challenge, blah, 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 blah. The other tribes real quick. Orange tribe, kind of boring. I'm glad that Mitch and Cedric bonded. Glad we saw more of Chrissy, more of Bianca. They're all great. Say I just have a burning hatred for her and I want her off my TV screen. Over to the purple tribe, David and the girls. Really, there's a lot of fun dynamics going on in this tribe. It's great. Now, I want to talk about David for a second. I freaking love David Kinney, and I know that that's a bit of a controversial take, but you know what? I don't care. He's not being a jerk to people on the island. He's just full of himself and confessional, and it's really funny, and I'm eating it up, and I don't care. I think it's great. He's TV gold, and he's not obnoxious to other people say he's just obnoxious and confessional, so it makes it fun for me, at least. I think there's a possibility next week Eva kind of just self-destructs. She might be getting voted out because I don't think Green is losing next week. They had their loss, whatever, they'll rebound because still it's a really strong tribe. Now they know, put Camilla on the puzzle. Man, what a great play by Camilla and Kyle. Those two are quickly becoming my favorites of this season, and I'm all the way on the Shahin train. I'm still on the Joe train. What a stacked group of characters on this tribe. One of them is winning the season. Mark my words. They are great. I loved every minute of this tribal council. I wasn't just head in hands. Oh my gosh. How I've been with this green tribe the last 4 weeks. No, this was actually fun. This was actually awesome. It was great. Tribe swaps for the win. Yes. Amazing episode. I'm so happy. I lost a save point, but it was worth it for the entertainment of it all. Vote tribe swaps for season 50, please. I'm begging you. And also advantages with minimal power. All right. We don't want game-breaking twists, all right? Minimal power, people. Minimal power. That's all I got. I will see you all next time.
Good job, Parker. Yeah, I went with minimal power, too. Definitely. And the swaps. Yeah.
Well, you know, Mary really likes David as a person. She thinks he's awesome. Right. And he has been. She just loves how she would like to do something for him, but he does so much to take care of her and everybody else that he's just
You're
wonderful.
Repeating what she says in the deleted scene.
Yeah, and and we see a different side of him there. How he genuinely is like, oh, and she's so nice, and it just makes me want to take care of her and she's like, and he spends so much time, he works so hard around here, and he's over there just
I don't know that's different.
Making his bed, our bed more comfortable for us. He's putting all this work into it and shaving all this down and doing all. And she just really thinks he's a great guy. So I do still think a lot of the stuff he says with the ego is insecurity.
Parker nailed it, though. The important thing is that he's not saying those kinds of things to the other people.
Yeah, to his tribe.
I really liked Parker's observation. So he's funny in his confessionals because he's so self-absorbed. But I can't believe that doesn't bleed over into other things. They're choosing not to show that. we're getting a highly edited version of him for sure.
Well, we usually get an edited version of everyone, really. So.
Well, go back and look at Justin. We didn't really get much on Justin, even though the time was there. And you can make a case for why they do that for the early votes. You don't get to see as much.
Right.
So the flip side is you could be more invested in the loss and feel it, just like you do, some people do with Thomas, just enjoying him so much and already looking forward to watching him play again.
Was Kevin was your USB, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I was just looking at the roster.
Yeah, so you don't always get highly edited versions of everyone. Sometimes they just purple people.
See what you did, Parker? You made us go on and on.
Next up, we got an email from Summer and Matt in North Georgia. Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Summer and Matt writing this week from just up the road from y'all in the lovely North Georgia mountains. Longtime listeners, 6th-season Fantasy League players.
All right.
And Matt sent an application for the very first season of Survivor when he saw a promo for it on the old Craig Kilborn show. Wow, that's a throwback. We're traveling this week and haven't had a chance to rewatch the last episode to figure out just where Thomas lost traction and caught the vote out. We were looking forward to him bringing some old school villainy back to Survivor Light. I like that, Survivor Light trademark. I call it PBS, Prope's Budget Survivor. It was a little baffling to see Camilla on the sidelines in the immunity challenge instead of out there actually getting it done. We have to think it would have been a different outcome if she were working the puzzle. We're still trying to decide if Vula can pull their considerable resources together and turn things around. We actually had Cedric as our vote out since we went with you all's spot-on analysis on the tribe makeup after the shuffle. We didn't see anyway Say wouldn't hit Cedric with both barrels as soon as she could, and Siva looked to be the weakest tribe to us. Yeah, I was with you on that. I just had a different target.
Yep.
So Cedric may live on a little longer than his diagnosis would initially indicate. Oh, I like that. Working on the doctor talk in there. But not sure how much longer. Matt's still thinking he would be next to go. I'm still not so sure. Lagi is still looking pretty strong, and it's interesting to see the apparent redemption story arc being set up for David. Can't wait everybody's got different takes on David. That's so interesting. Can't wait to hear what the other superfans have to say about next week's episode. We're back at home base early next week, and we have a lot of Australian Survivor to catch up on too. Talk to you all soon. Summer and Matt. Thank you. It's great to hear from you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we never have the opportunity to watch Survivor Australia.
Well, we have the opportunity. We just choose not to. Because that would be way too much on top of doing the podcast.
Yeah, no, I can't do it.
Because it's multi episodes per week. It's like three episodes a week.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks again, Summer and Matt. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joanne, Stacey, and to all Survivor fans. Hope everyone's well and safe. Well, for a while there, I had my heart in my throat. I really thought that Shahin was going to be the target. And as soon as I saw his name mentioned there by Kyle and Camilla, I was just cacking it. But thank God, in a sense, they went for Thomas. I really do enjoy the way Shahin's playing the game. But let's just go back to the beginning. I thought the tribe swaps were really good. They brought balance back into the game where we didn't have that before. Just again highlights how poor they get these tribe balances. I think it's 3 or 4 of the modern era, 40 onwards that they've stuffed up. It's please get this right. The product would be so much better if you get the balance right, or just how would make it 2 tribes. 2 tribes of, I don't know,
there you go.
9 or whatever. Anyway, I thought they nailed that, albeit it was just based on chance. And I thought that looking at New Vulu, that the Vulu curse would be dispelled, but look, it continued, and it was their fault. Unfortunately, they got their tactics wrong. They didn't have Camilla involved in the final puzzle. As you said, Stacey, that she was involved, she would have been able to see the full rotation. She would have gone around the puzzle. She only had one angle to be able to view everything. It's just really difficult when you've only got 90 to 120 degrees of vision there. Going back to camp, I thought pre-challenge and then post-challenge, before tribal, I thought they just nailed it. Camilla and Kyle played it really masterfully. I thought they were about to stuff it up, as the both of you mentioned, and when they talked about their Guyanese background, but they pulled it back, and yeah, they did a really good con job. the California Girls Alliance. And I really felt for Thomas. You could see that emotion pour out. It was tough. And it highlights that when you do have so many quick exits, you can have some really good players leave early. I think a few seasons ago, it might have been 3 seasons ago, I thought it was around the same time. I think it was the 4th vote out after something similar. Might have been the Banu season. I think the week afterwards we had a really good player sent home. This can happen. What I hope is that Thomas might have the opportunity to play again, because I think we just missed possibly a very good player. But again, happy that Shahin stayed in the game, and I'm really looking forward to next week. I do have to say one thing before I go. I think you're being a bit harsh on David there, Stacey. I do think he's a good guy. I think that there's a lot of pain there. I think there's a lot of confusion, but I think there is, behind the Chad, behind the real extreme bro presence, I think there's a good guy. So I think you're sticking it in too hard there. I'm going to go. Thanks for all that you do. It's my birthday on the 23rd, which is tomorrow for me, and I think it's in 2 days for you guys. So I hope everyone is well and safe. And yeah, got my mum over, and it's New Year as well. Persian New Year's going on. So it's very hectic at the moment. But yeah, thanks for all you do. Cheers. Bye.
Awesome. You want me to stop busting David's chops, huh? I don't know. We'll see.
I agree with everything he said about David. I really do. I do think he's a good guy. I mean, who's perfect? No one. We all have things about ourselves I think he's just struggling with it, and it's just in the top. But yes, he does but again, insecurity does that too.
Yes, we'll see how Gaston fares moving on through the season.
Gaston?
Yeah.
Okay, babe.
That's a parallel, right, for him, don't you think? A little bit?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, happy birthday. And let's see, Nowruz Peruz. That's Happy New Year, I think, in Farsi.
Okay.
He said they were celebrating the New Year, which comes with the spring equinox. So be careful and take care of your back when you're doing that deep cleaning to get rid of the bad energy, and be super safe when you jump over the fire too. So I had to go read about Persian New Year after he said that.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Thanks, Shahin. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Kim, and I would like to give a shout out to my fellow North Carolinian Anderson for a great song at the beginning of the season. I'm really enjoying this season, and I almost put Thomas as a vote out this week. I didn't look at any spoilers on what the new tribes were going to be, and I put Say as a vote out. I'm happy to see that she and Mary seem to be getting together on their new tribe, and they are giving me a little bit of Rachel and Genevieve vibe from last season. Cedric is looking like a very bad player, both physically and game-wise right now, so I'm guessing he'll be around for a while. He becomes less of a threat once the merge happens, I think. Exactly. So I thought about Jeff's probability discussion in the podcast, which I don't normally listen to, but I went and found this part of it. I understand where he's getting the 1/6 probability for everybody. So the first person who goes up has a 1 in 6 chance of pulling safe out of the bag. Then, if the same bag is used for the next person, their probability would be 5/6, the chance that the person before didn't get the safe, times 1/5, the chance that they get the safe scroll of the 5 that's left in the bag. Then the next person would have to have the first person not get it, 5/6, times the next person, the second person not getting it, 4/5, and then times 1/4 for them, because now there's 4 scrolls and one of them would still be safe, and so on through the rest of the people until the bag was empty. All those calculations simplified down to 1/6. The thing is, he says the probability is 17.18%, which doesn't equal 1 divided by 6 or 1/6. So maybe he misspoke, or there's something that I haven't thought of. I'll admit that any ability I have to do probability is through doing a lot of problems, getting them wrong, and figuring out why they were wrong. I wouldn't say I have a natural affinity for probability calculations. He's also unclear on how often would 2 people choose out of the same bag before it was replenished.
Right.
But I guess that wouldn't really change the calculations for each person as they came up to pull one out of the bag. Stacy, I'm counting on you to clip all that out if I sound idiotic. I'm looking forward to
Not at all.
feedback from everybody else. Take care, everybody. So happy to be back with the community and the show of Survivor. Bye.
Thanks for checking out what he said on the podcast and looking at the analysis there. I always thought that basically they would reset the jar that they pulled the scrolls from.
You always told me that they did.
And I thought one of the producers had said something to that effect that we got in after one of the episodes when they were talking about Shot in the Dark early on, that effectively what was happening. So I thought if someone, because they wouldn't have any way of knowing, right, what got pulled out of that jar. So you just have to have a fresh jar ready for the next person that might try to do it. So you just take out the one that someone pulled one from and put another one up there that had one safe and 5 not safes.
Well, but then they would have had to have 5 or 6 of those up there.
Yeah, which would
Just
be
in
easy
case.
enough to do. I thought it worked that way. Anyway, I appreciate you doing that extra analysis. Thanks, Kim. Great to hear you again, too. Next up, we got an email from Nicola in Kentucky.
Hello, all my Survivor friends and family. Just thought I would drop a quick line while I remember. At the end of last season, I was struggling to find my Survivor mojo, but I'm happy to say it's back.
Yay.
I have watched all the episodes this season so far, and even though Say was getting on my last nerve, she managed to turn it around this episode, although it looks like old habits return next week. Another great tribal this evening. Camilla and Kyle played the California girls like a well-tuned fiddle. It's great to hear everyone's voices and perspectives. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for everything you do. It gives me and so many others joy in these very dark times. Cheers, everyone. All right. Thanks, Nicola. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, great to hear from you again. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor superfans, it's Justin from Michigan. So, it looks like Survivor wanted to get in on the March Madness, and we had an upset alert with the other 2 weaker-looking tribes beating the strongest-looking tribe. And then we also had the Cinderella story of Kyle and Camilla being on the bottom, 2 against 3, pulling off the upset. So, loving it. I really, really did not think that tribe was going to go, but it did make for the most interesting vote. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, man, Thomas should have used his advantage, should have stolen the vote, gave himself a chance, but I just think it was such a great acting job by Camilla and Kyle. Mm-hmm. And the way it was shown, it looked like Kyle kind of had to improv. It looked like he had to kind of pick up what Camilla was giving, because I don't think they had a chance to discuss, hey, we're going to make it seem like we're not that tight. I think Camilla just kind of threw that out there to the whole group, and Kyle had to run with it. So, yes, Camilla for coming up with that, awesome. But Kyle, for improving and playing off of what she was giving, that's also really impressive. So this duo, watch out for them. If they both make it to the merge, they can really be a dynamic duo going forward, even though not as powerful now because neither of them have, well, potentially, neither of them have anything. That's another point I wanted to bring up. We didn't see if Kyle actually used the extra vote. We saw him have it in his hand as he went up to the voting booth, but we don't know for a fact, I don't believe, that he actually played it. So maybe he had it with him, put it back in his pocket. I'm curious if we'll get clarification on that before next week's episode, maybe, or maybe we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, I mean, I'd like to say that this tribe probably won't go back next week, but who knows? I mean, looking ahead, I think Charity's in trouble. I think Eva was throwing out Star, but the way David was saying, Charity, we're not as tight as she's making it out to be, I think Charity might be in trouble. The Star Eva thing's kind of weird. We haven't heard from Star much, and we've seen a lot from Eva. So I assume at some point Eva's going to take out Star. But just the fact, like, the only thing we saw of Star this episode really was her chat with Camilla. So it was just furthering Camilla's storyline, not really doing anything for Star. actually showing Star in a negative light spilling the beans. So, really good episode. Cool way to kick off March Madness here. And looking forward to what everyone else has to say. Thanks.
Great job. Yeah, March Madness used to have a big impact on the show, didn't it? Remember, did they move the episode or did they skip it?
Yeah, no, I think they would have it like a day before or day after.
Back when the episodes aired on Thursday, it would have a big impact,
yes,
right?
because they would do it then. Yeah, anyway, they used to move it around. And sometimes if the March Madness was on Wednesday, when they were on Wednesday, they wouldn't get it till Thursday or something. But that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. I
you
like
know
all your
something? You don't think
analogies.
You don't think that Eva will get taken out for any reason, that she will decide she can't deal with it or it's too much or anything like that.
It's certainly possible.
That happening.
It seems unlikely given her sports background and being hyper competitive.
Yeah, that she wouldn't be able to allow herself to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And because she said
even
she
though
doesn't
she's
quit.
In a struggle spiral
but
or something.
But I thought, it was the only reason I say that is because of the picture, the next on Survivor, when they were showing their tribe there looking at stars. We think looking at stars clues.
Mm-hmm.
Eva,
no,
I didn't
think
see
Mike
her.
K had that.
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Eva wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's most likely a shot from before the challenge.
Yeah, maybe, but
because I don't know that you're going to be rallying around Star to help her solve her beware advantage to get an immunity
Eva
aisle.
would want to.
Yeah,
but
before the challenge,
she's
after
isolated
the challenge.
from the tribe. That's not a good sign either.
Yeah, well, she might be, as they say, on a walk in air quotes. That's where Thomas said he was when Camilla and Kyle first laid out their story, because he said that if he had been there, he would have busted them, because he felt like he would have seen right through it. It's basically what he was saying.
Hindsight.
Yeah, and as Mike K mentioned, I guess Mike K said Dalton Ross said that he did play the extra vote, and I had seen something previously where Tyson had also said he checked in with Matt Van Wagenen and said that Kyle did play the extra vote. So it sounds, everything's sounding like it's gone.
Well, I figured if he did, then they would show it at some point, so next week or something. So they probably
unless it was completely insignificant. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't insignificant because we knew about it. We knew she gave it to him. So I think they will explain that.
Well, the fact that they didn't need it would make it insignificant in the moment when they're making editing decisions. Mm-hmm. That's all I meant by that. Thanks, Justin. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Jade.
I'm Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
We're back after a little hiatus. I got a pretty bad cold, so I couldn't really talk. And then Kevin went home. So sad.
She just didn't have the heart to do it.
Didn't have the heart. But we enjoyed this episode. It's always great to see a shake-up. We thought we would talk about kind of what surprised us and what didn't. So it surprised me that the Vula team lost. I thought they were going to kill it. And it also surprised me that the Vula camp was so bad. So I think that there's like a curse on the Vula beach. Like someone may have taken a tiki idol or something, or lava rock, taking a lava rock away from Hawaii or something.
There's some bad money happening there.
And there's no shelter. Maybe Kevin was the only one who knew how to use the machete and they sent him home.
With his one arm.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. Thomas went home. We were surprised that he went home, but he did go home because he didn't trust the other Cali girls, which surprised me. If he had told his alliance about it, they could have made sure that everybody was safe by splitting the votes and taking one up. I think he had a block
2-2. Yeah.
But it's not so bad for my USB Shahin because Thomas was not to be trusted.
Yeah.
He's pretty sus.
Yeah, it's probably better for Shahin in the long run, even though now he doesn't have his number one.
Right.
I was not surprised that Eva found the strongest man. I think that that's her safe place because of her experiences. She feels safe with physically strong men. So she finds the strongest man, and that's what makes her safe. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and just kind of taps into that protective place.
That's what she's looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Say wanting revenge and immediately throwing Cedric under the bus.
Yeah.
That was another not surprised.
Yeah, definitely not surprised. And not surprised to see how awesome Camilla and Kyle were working. They're working really well. They're very sneaky. That was pretty exciting. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And as you know, they're related. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Mitch is playing really well.
Yeah.
I was not surprised to see him doing well again in the challenge. And then he was really good at making those social connections with Cedric. So I like rooting for him.
Me too. He seems very likable. So it's fun to root for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I mean, I keep putting Cedric down as my vote out. So maybe they'll just keep doing that. Or maybe Star will go if Loggy loses. It's just with Vula, the new Vula losing, I have no idea now who's going to lose.
Yeah, we'll look forward to getting some help from all of you Survivor superfans.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, so great to hear you again. Great. We got a lot of people coming back for this episode, huh? For this listener feedback.
And, I really do think Vula will rebound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they will lose this week. They have something to prove.
Yeah, well,
They kind of had egg on their face after the boasting, so I think they have something to prove in there. Of course, if you give your all, that's all you can do.
I was reminded of something that Thomas said in his interviews when Jade and Christine were going through the different items, and he said that he knew that Joe and Shahin were more aligned, that they were each other's number one.
Number one, yeah.
And so he was
too.
on the outside of that, and that was another factor that he considered when he was deciding whether or not to share the information about his advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to have something because he knew he didn't have that, and his number one didn't have a vote, so he was in a rough place. He was being very guarded because of the sequence of events that played out there and how people were aligning.
And it could have hurt him after the merge if Shahin and Joe knew and he didn't tell Bianca.
Yeah, sure.
That would come back
all
to
kinds
bite
of ways.
him.
Yeah, that it could come back to hurt him for sure. Good deal. Thanks again, Jade-n-Christine. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, this was a great episode and a real palate cleanser for the prior one. I can't wait to discuss it. My observations. Vula Beach comes with the full Survivor experience, but it doesn't do well on Airbnb. I don't think that say sticky notes will replace Post-its. Mary walked past the advantage. She might find one if it's planted in her bag. Yes, the least amount of work possible.
Yep.
She might discover it. Say has laser eyes. Sounds like she should be 50 feet tall and on Squid Game. Cedric is a glass half full guy. If he doesn't play better, it'll need to contain an adult beverage. Say and Mary stopped butting heads. They didn't want to be seen as goats. Bianca said Loggy had fun winning everything. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Mary's bye-bye Vula happy dance has gone viral on TikTok. Is Say's overshared Siva versus Loggy strategy new survivors under the radar game? Mary's apology to New Vula for the state of the camp should have been their red flag. Eva lost Papa Joe but gained Big Brother David. Camilla was confident with her new tribe. Passengers boarding the Titanic were confident too. Yes, definitely some parallels there. Eva's shocked face makes her look like a big mouth bass. That's great. I like that. Shahin was like Billy the Singing Bass too, huh? Shahin was comfortable with his well-rounded team. Zero is pretty round too. Eva offered up Star on a silver platter, but she forgot to add the garnish. Siva Beach comes with cassava. Vulu Beach comes with flies. The only detail about Star that Eva didn't spill was her shoe size. Say wanted to be moved away from Cedric. I want free Super Bowl tickets. Bianca likes keeping her butt on Fijian rocks. I'd prefer a hammock. The California girl's luxury item should have been a lie detector. Vula camp is so bad that FEMA should have intervened. Say said she likes strong, competitive women. Don't tell that to Mary. New Vula is a force to be reckoned with. Vula Beach is a farce to be reckoned with. The challenge featured rolling a big cube. Someone in production really likes dice. David takes care of his sisters. Mary wants to be adopted into his family. Yeah, she did say that. It makes sense that the big fruit tray wound up at the Loggy Beach Spa and Resort. If David doesn't win, he can still cash in as a spokesman for chocolate milk. Vula tried to earn back Flint that its new members never lost. David blows up plans. Most of his stunts must involve explosives.
They didn't earn it back either.
Yeah. Shahin put Camilla on his shoulders so she'd have a good view of the turkey parade. Vula proved that it's not easy being green. Kyle and Camilla's caper in Operation Italy are Jeff's Emmy bait for best drama. In the challenge, Vula called their shot and then shot themselves in the foot. Shahin's bag search wasn't TSA worthy. Kyle is lucky he didn't do a full cavity search. Vula showed that speed dating is often awkward and uncomfortable. Kyle put the shoe on the other foot with his idol play. The California girls aren't Mike Tyson fans. They had a plan but got punched in the mouth. Like most supervillains, Thomas's evil plan was undone by hubris, plus poor math skills. Next time, a tilt table challenge, Mary pulls something from a tree, Say wipes a knife on her skirt, and Kyle and Camilla taught a master class. Who'll get schooled? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job, bud. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. And here are my thoughts on Survivor 48, Episode 4. I'm going to take a turn out into left field for my feedback this week. Last season, I talked about color theory briefly, but never followed up on it. And I think that this week's episode is a perfect opportunity for me to dive right back in. Last season, I posed the question of the effect that the tribe colors have on performance. So our tribe colors are purple, orange, and green. So let's consider what color theory says about each of those colors. Purple is the color of power and ambition. It's the symbol of royalty. Basically, it is associated with many positive and powerful attributes. So I imagine that perhaps those wearing the purple buff may have feelings of being powerful and dominant. And we have certainly seen that this season, as the purple tribe has not lost an immunity challenge yet. They haven't even come in second, and even after a tribe swap where there were 4 women and 1 man, where by all accounts they should be the weakest tribe competing, they still pulled out the win in the last immunity challenge. The next color we have is orange. Now, I think that orange has had a very up and down history in recent Survivor seasons. Actually, you can see an up and down history with every color, even with purple. I mean, we've got Zapatera tribe, we've got all kinds of the Outcast tribe in Pearl Island, so they're all up and down. So take all this with a grain of salt. There are 2 sides to every coin, and we're in season 48. So, don't come at me with a list of colored tribes. And I mean, I've already been on that website. So anyway, I digress. Where was I? Oh, yes, I was talking about orange. Orange combines energy of red and happiness of yellow. It's associated with optimism and confidence. On the other hand, it's associated with caution. Think traffic cones and safety vests. There are not many serious negative connotations with orange that I've found, but it's certainly not red or blue in terms of popularity. But orange has a good energy, and so does the orange tribe this season. And finally, we have green. Green has many positive traits. It's the color of nature. It's associated with growth and productivity. So many positive things, but here's the kicker. Green slows the human metabolism and produces a calming effect. These are positive things for everyday life, but not positive things possibly for competition. When you're wearing green, you're not out for blood. And negatively, green is associated with sickness, envy, or selfishness. So I'm thinking that looking at the color green all day may be why the green tribe hasn't had so much success. So the tribe colors on this season are certainly having an effect on the players in a way that color theory would suggest that they would. Players wearing purple has won every immunity, orange has come out right in the middle, and green just can't muster up the energy to pull out a win. And this means absolutely nothing, but it's an interesting rabbit hole to explore here in season 48 and a fun lens through which to view the season for one episode. Can't wait to hear commentary from everyone else on topics of actual significance in this episode. On a final note, I will miss Thomas so much. While I had him as first out in Jabik, I was so pleasantly surprised by his gameplay and entertained as well. And loving a good returning player season like I do, I really hope he's at the tops of the lists to come back and play another season of Survivor. I would like that. That's it for me. Till next week.
Yeah, I think Probst has even already said there's a chance for a return from Thomas. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Jen. I liked looking at it through that perspective. The only thing I remember about color theory from my psychology class was pink and how pink had a pacifying effect on people, and that stuck with me for some reason.
Well, why do you have such a bad reaction to it?
Well, it's that pacifying can induce a weakness in terms of the response. So I guess it could benefit you to some degree if you're the one wearing it and everyone else is seeing it and it pacifies them or makes them weaker. But I was never a fan of it.
Yeah, you can't, if pink's one of the colors you can't always tell well. And,
right, it comes off as gray to me sometimes.
But you definitely don't want to be wearing
I learned
pink.
that, and that was like one of the solid
Can't wear pink.
factual things from my psych class.
My son isn't wearing pink, even though he's a dog.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Anyway, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Grinning.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and I guess this shows what the luck of a draw can give you. A team with 4 strong men and 1 woman who ends up not being able to win the challenge. And that's the thing about Survivor. You just never know. Now, my first note is somewhat vague here, and I honestly don't recall the specifics, but it was Say, who I keep calling Sai, it was she who said that she wanted to watch them eat themselves alive, in reference to the other teams. I do believe this was spoken after the swap and even in front of some of the others that she was referring to as them, but I don't have time to go back to rewatch the details. I just know that I was shaking my head thinking that it was the wrong thing to say at that particular point in time.
Yes.
But that's safe for you. There's no filter there at all. It just all comes blurting out. Of course, Cedric ended up on the same tribe as Say. I very much recall saying here that she'd ruin what little game he had to offer, and it certainly looks like that's coming true as Say tells Bianca to get a vibe for Cedric first before wanting to work with him. Then Say rolls all over him with her bus. And I understand where she's coming from. He did write her name down. I just wonder how Cedric feels watching this. He made a big sacrifice for her, and that's where it gets you. That said, I'm glad to see that our frenemies, Mary and Say, have been separated. And as for the tribe swap, have we ever seen so many people flipping on their own tribe mates after a merge when the tribes are 2 + 2 + 1? Oh, that sounds like a Clue quote there. I mean, pull in that loner and you have a majority. Sacrificing your own teammate, no matter how much you don't gel with them, seems to be a more roundabout way to go about getting to the top 3. And with more possible ways that it can backfire, because you certainly can appear to not be a team player by turning so quickly and easily on one of your own. And Tribal was actually more fun for me this week because I didn't need to think too hard about it. Camilla with the tears, though. This woman is, wow. I can't wait to see where she takes us next. If you have her as your USB, well, way to go. And my hat goes off to Kyle as well. They're a great team. I also thought that Thomas left with a good deal of style. I was so sure it was going to be Shahin going because there was one point where he literally was twirling his mustache, and I thought at that point that it was a form of foreshadowing, especially since he was the one that was going through Kyle's bag in front of Kamala. Now, I guess if I'm going to lose my USB Shahin, I do want it to happen before the merge, but I'd rather not see him go. Lastly, when I redid the roster, I marked Kyle as the current owner of the extra vote, since the last we heard, Camilla was going to hand it over to him. It's actually hard to say who has it at this point, but that's why I credited it to Kyle. Of course, the roster will update as we learn more. Next to go? I don't know. Because Loggy looks to be weaker to me, I guess I'm going to pick Charity to go. Or is it Charity? I'd swear Jeff was calling her Charity at one point. It all depends on the puzzle, I suppose, but that's what I think I'm doing. At this point in time, anyway. And that's it for me. Everyone take care. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I don't know. I got to think, although it was such a mistake this time, but I got to think that New Vula, if they do face a puzzle for the immunity challenge, that they'll get it. They won't let that mistake happen again, like everybody was saying. So
Well,
it's just, is it a puzzle? Or, I mean, we saw them doing the tilt table.
Yeah.
And the next time on.
Is it like a maze? It seemed like maybe a maze or something, or
A maze?
what was it?
What do you mean?
The tilt table.
Well, they have to roll the balls. I guess you're thinking that's kind of through a maze. There are obstacles that you have to roll the ball from one end to the other to land it in those 3. What confused me even more about that, though, was that pros seemed to be saying that they were tied when they got that, implying that there's more to the challenge to do. Like that was just one stage, whereas in a lot of cases when we would see them do those tables like that, that was the final stage of the immunity challenge. So that was a little confusing. And you wouldn't think they would show someone winning immunity in the next time on. So I guess it would make more sense that it was at, a step along the way towards immunity to get that part done.
We shall see.
Do you have thoughts on who you think? There's a lot of good information discussed this week.
Well, like I said, I don't think Vula will lose this week. I don't know why, and I know it's a possibility, but I definitely think it could
time?
be maybe because, if it is the balls, we know they did well with that. But like Jeff said,
well, that was Siva that you saw.
Yeah, Siva. I know. That's why I said Loggy could lose. Okay. And the fact that they were trying to help Star solve her
Beware Advantage?
Yes, Beware Advantage. That maybe, are they going to tribal? Are they not?
That would be a little bit ironic to help her get it and then end up there.
Well,
she plays it.
I won't be putting Charity safe this week.
Okay.
Or Eva. Or Star, really. I don't know. Or maybe I should get a point off Star, but that's how I lost Thomas, I think. And,
well, if they help her find it, and there's a good chance they will.
Yeah, because they want to use it once they merge.
I don't know that this group is as devious as the original old Loggy was in their work collaborating not to give her the answer. In the interviews, Thomas, he said it a couple different ways, as I recall. He said he was pretty sure he knew what the answer was and they had withheld it from Star. And then in another interview, I heard him say that he knew exactly what it was and he didn't tell her because they didn't want her to have that power. So they had an option there. But he was basically holding the answer in his pocket in case he did need her to have it, depending on how things were lining up if they had to go to tribal council.
Yeah, and I guess Siva tribe I'm more confused about because I don't know if did Mitch say he didn't want to work with Charity, or did he say he thought he could work with Charity? I can't.
Oh, Mitch and Charity were tight.
Chrissy. I meant Chrissy.
Well, it was more Chrissy talking about how Mitch had never talked strategy with her, but she was, given the circumstances, she was certainly open to having that discussion.
Well, I could clearly see that Cedric could go. It doesn't. I know Bianca could go because she doesn't have a vote. Oh wait, though, that would throw a kink in it because I don't think Mitch will vote for Cedric. Period. Or Mitch at this point.
And Mitch has a block.
Yeah, Mitch has a block of vote.
So with Bianca not having one,
they should be in control.
Yeah, in that scenario, Mitch and Cedric could determine what happens. Because
I was thinking the three girls could take out Cedric. And that would be what Say wanted. But Bianca doesn't have a vote. And hopefully she won't lead them long because that could
And she's going to be desperate to align with someone. So she's not the one that catches the vote out. Who's she going to pick up and work with?
So shoot. Mitch and Cedric can control the vote if he does a block a vote. Wow. Okay. Well, then I guess I got to rethink that. I would say, unless Cedric finds out that Say was targeting him, that Chrissy would go. So I think that's between Chrissy and Say.
Do you think Bianca can bluff her way through?
Well, I think the only reason Cedric would vote for Say is if he knew for certain that she had targeted him. And not
could be the
knowing
way
Bianca didn't have a,
That could be the way Bianca secures herself through that tribal council, is by sharing that with Cedric and Mitch.
Yeah, that could work. So I would say it's one of those two, Chrissy or Say. So,
but if Say, Chrissy, and Bianca start working together, then they could target Cedric.
But one of them's probably going to go because Bianca doesn't have a vote. So they're not going to have the opportunity to work together, I don't think. Unless Mitch goes with them or Cedric does. If Say could convince Cedric, then to vote with them for whoever. Chrissy, she could say, okay, then let's you and I vote with Mitch for Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
But then Mitch would still have his block of vote, but I don't know if he's telling everyone.
I don't think Mitch is aware that the other members of original SIVA didn't think too much of Mitch or Charity, that they weren't like tightly aligned with them.
Yeah, so
that they were on the outside to a degree, I guess is how I wanted to phrase that.
So they could vote out Chrissy or they could vote out Bianca, but if Mitch wants Chrissy out, then Chrissy's out. So I'm going to go back, I think, and watch that and see what he actually had to say and if it says how he feels about her.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards Say is going to get it because Bianca will see that as a path.
You want me to say another
No, you make up your own mind. I was just sharing what I was thinking.
No, I mean, I keep wanting, thinking she's going to go this week. Okay, she's going to go this week. Okay, she's going to go this week. So
what happens on New Vula if they end up going again? If the Vula curse strikes a fifth time?
It depends on, since an idol was played, there should be an idol at their camp, another one.
No, there is. Mary walked by it and didn't get it.
Oh, that's left over from old Vula.
Right.
So there's already one out there. There won't be another one placed
There's some
there.
advantage. There's something there in the fork of a tree that she walked by that the camera flashed so we could see it.
Let's see. Did anyone find the advantage on that tribe? The Beware advantage? I don't think they ever found that, did they?
Yeah, they did.
They did?
Say
Who had it?
Say had it.
Oh, yeah.
Cedric
Okay.
solved it for her. She
You're right.
played it.
You're right. I remember now.
Mary walked by the one that was rehidden after that.
Okay. Yep. I can see how quickly I forget. Okay,
What
so that's
could-
been found, so it should be an idol up there.
Well, an idol or an advantage, yeah. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be an idol. The other thing is that because Kyle played his, there may be a new one planted
Well, that was my point.
at Siva
all
Beach.
along, but
Not at Vula, at Siva Beach, because that's where his originally came from.
doesn't matter. He played it on Vula Tribe, so why wouldn't they put one at their beach if it's
Because
not
there had
already?
already been one
If
replanted.
it is an idol and not an advantage of some sort. They could have an idol and an advantage at
Mhm.
one time.
Yep.
So, but anyway.
I'm excited.
We'll
Looking forward
find out
to it.
next week.
Hey, we want to say a big thank you to everybody who took that time this week to send in your thoughts, your predictions, share new theories, do some very difficult math, all that good stuff.
And some color analysis.
Yeah. Also, big thanks to Hope for your subscription donation. Thank you so much. That helps with our operational costs, and we greatly appreciate that.
Now, if you play in JSFL, remember to make your Week 5 picks for one person voted out and 4 people you think will be safe at the end of the episode. As always, I'm ready to see next week's episode already.
Looking forward to it. We'll be back with our recap on Wednesday.
Have a good one.